New pieces for the Nets, some second-year pieces. Watanabe swoops right in and lays it home.
Nice quick push.
That was lacking, and he wants opposing teams to respect Brooklyn through their chest, and we were going to be able to do that. Morris.
Games last season with Miami, and this is a good opportunity for the Nets to get a look at him and what he brings to the table. And I think like obviously.
Back from Joe. Niang can't hit the three. Watanabe unable to flag it down, and Niang floats it in.
Watched if it would develop, and granted it was back in that 2021 season, the last one that he played prior. He got slash ability, an interesting piece. And as always, they're in the lineup for Brooklyn. There's a lot of competition across the board with some players coming back from injury, and also a lot of these young guys. You see Cam Thomas out here, David Duke, that have put in a whole lot of work. And that's why you look at vets in the league or those who've got a long, how can you blossom? That's why it's disappointing for Sumner after 4 years in Indiana to have that.
Duke, one of those guys, Thomas, Kessler Edwards, Day'Ron Sharp.
And they all had their moments. I mean, especially Cam Thomas, some of those game winners for performances. You count out to put the ball in the bucket.
Sumner does that there. We saw last year at some point you are called upon.
And that's the challenge, especially as a young player.
Niang knocks down a three.
Maybe you were accustomed to having, whether it was in college or early on. And so that's also the understanding of roles when you're playing with a handful of superstars and all-stars, what you do to fit in.
Wow, Thomas fit in between two defenders.
Is always facing the basket. He could score in a variety of ways, and that's where it gets exciting, seeing that three-point shot. I think it's something he's worked on extending his range, but it's going to be an important factor, too, in the development of his offensive game.
And here's Milton. Stomps on a dime and finesses. Morris gets a clean look and hits another. Markieff Morris, Cam Thomas up ahead with it. Sumner Euros and finishes. Gives the Nets.
All started. That's some tough defense by Cam on one end.
As Joe takes it right back. If the rebound. Up ahead, Chioza. Edwards connects. On a three, Durant likes it.
Vying for playing time. Edwards had his opportunity last year.
That'll drop plus the foul.
And put age in the moment a little bit more than he was able to step up to. But overall, I think, every individual
learning that as long as I take care of the defensive end, I will always have a place. And he was getting a chance was because of what he could do on this end. Korkmaz, high off the window, no, but Harrell flushes it down on the foul.
Improvement. You got a lot of shooting, a lot of scorers, but you got to get stops.
And Edwards and Watanabe combined for one there. Second chance, and Korkmaz splashes. Sumner and Duke getting ready to check back in for Brooklyn as Korkmaz kisses it in off the window. So after Brooklyn had taken a brief lead, Philadelphia now on a 7-0 run. Chio's a great look. Thomas run off, attacks. That'll be a block, and Cam Thomas will shoot two. But first, the timeout. 2:57 to go in the third quarter. You're watching Nets.
Aspect of what he brings to the table with how he can defend on the wing, defend on the perimeter. He's going to be an important aspect in terms of this team wanting to improve defensively and how he fits in that way. He's also so smiley. What a great human. He's been a pleasure as he's first come to this team. You talk about character guys or locker room guys or how that's important for the chemistry of the group, and he has certainly added to that.
He also told us he was getting a nice repertoire of restaurants from Joe Harris in Brooklyn as that three falls in for Philadelphia.
And naturally, you said, I also got a list for you.
Yeah, I do. But Joe told me
You've probably stolen most of Joe's.
That's right. But Joe told me he's not quite ready for it yet. You know, Joe is starting simple, just in his neighborhood, and then going to slowly expand beyond that. Chioza can't hit the three, and then we'll get into Rucos Rex.
You guys are very thoughtful on your recommendations.
That's right. Joe knows food.
You gonna give Megan some of the recommendations?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Markieff banks it in high off the window. Any Mark Forgione restaurant, Megan, you go there, you'll love the food, I promise. Philadelphia has increased the lead to 10. 1:40 to go in this third. Here's Duke. And that's into the second row. Sumner will check back in for Brooklyn, as will Morris. And Day'Ron Sharpe and Cam Thomas will take a seat. So Chioza, Markieff Morris, David Duke, and Kessler Edwards along with Sumner, now the 5. Markieff, nice little setup. And the flush.
Here when we started half, a lot of the individuals that were playing in the first half, starters for Brooklyn. Some key guys for Philadelphia not playing in this half, but this is an important time and important minutes for many of these players.
Springer scoops it in, plus the foul. Jaden Springer.